Hi guys, it's Finn. With all the surgery vlogging, I haven't really talked about Andrew's transition yet, and I thought it was about time I caught you up on where we are with that. He's been on testosterone for 6 weeks now, just over 6 weeks. He's on libido, so he's just had his kind of second injection, because on libido you have a loading phase in the beginning to get your testosterone to normal levels. So yeah, he's had the second one. No, he's not doing videos. I know people are going to ask. He's just not public like I am. He might change his mind down the line, I don't know. He is doing personal videos, so they are there, but whether he'll share them, I don't know. But in terms of like my thoughts on this so far, if you've watched my earlier videos, you'll know that I was really torn between, of course, loving him and supporting him and wanting him to be happy. But on the other side of it, there's the, I've lost my girlfriend kind of aspect to this, the same thing that he went through with me. It's kind of like twofold really, the loss of him as he was in his previous incarnation, also the loss of us, our dynamic, how we were in the previous incarnation, and also just the added difficulties this adds to an already difficult situation. We were two women together, then we were a straight couple, and kind of having to go through all that adjusting, and now here we are again having to adjust. And there is that fear that, is it too much to ask of one couple to undergo such huge changes? I mean, couples do change over time, and most couples, if they're lucky and they work at it, they kind of adapt through changes and grow together. But a lot of couples don't survive changes and they grow apart. And I think when you have such a massive change in a relationship like transition, you are at a bigger risk of it kind of breaking apart. And then if you've got like two people transitioning, that must of course double it. So yeah, there was all of that worry, really. And as I've said before, leading up to it, I couldn't really guess how I felt. It didn't change how I felt about him then and there. I loved him, still do. And it's really hard because I couldn't kind of base how I felt on anything really, because it was all speculation about how would I feel in the future. So it's been really hard, but actually the reality of him going on T has been a lot easier than I thought it would be. I'm thinking really that a lot of my worry was just kind of not knowing how to feel. I was in a bit of a limbo, the same as he was. Whilst he was waiting for testosterone, I was also waiting for his testosterone so that I could then have a reaction to it. And that kind of limbo phase of just waiting to get the go-ahead, it was quite frustrating for the pair of us actually. And we weren't arguing as such, but you could feel the tensions between the two of us. His frustration at wanting testosterone, my frustration at waiting to see how I'd feel. But now actually him going on testosterone has kind of released that frustration for the pair of us, because now he's got that wonderful kind of, oh my god, yes, I'm on testosterone moment. And I've got the, okay, now it's happening, now we can start moving. Because I think it's that standing still and not knowing that frustrates me more than anything. I like to kind of like be able to respond and react. Is this making sense? Yeah, it's basically, even though he's not physically changing yet, things are happening, and so it feels like we're moving forward again, if that makes sense. It's funny because I felt like this in a transition as well. I was so in limbo, it was so horrible waiting for testosterone, and then when I got testosterone, although of course the changes took time, I felt that much better once I was moving again, and I think it's that. Maybe I just like movement. But anyway, the first injection was in the middle of me being in hospital. He actually put it off until I was home, so that we could kind of enjoy it together, because we've always done transition things together, and he was there for my first injection and he wanted me to be there for his, but I was really not well enough to kind of get there, so instead we kind of planned a day where he went and had his jab and then came straight home, and we just had a kind of quiet celebration at home, got takeaway and watched a film and kind of giggled together and sat there kind of looking for his beard, which was quite funny. But apart from that, I think the poor guy has been a bit disheartened, because my voice broke quite quick, and I think he was kind of hoping that the same would happen, but then I did go on a fairground ride and scream my head off, whereas he's really not had any major changes so far. There's been some like increases of him smelling, and he's been a little bit moodier than normal, but really not much at all. But then he had this top-up jab last week, and he's been hilarious. He's hit real teenage mode. We were walking around town, and he was properly like dragging his feet on like this, like a teenager, and then like I'm over in the corner studying, and I can hear him kind of grunting and huffing and clearing his throat and that, and it's just hilarious. It's funny just sort of looking at him and remembering what I went through, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's just made this whole process just so much easier. I'm just full of joy watching him and watching that process unfold, and you know, I'm actually getting quite as excited as he is now, but seeing his changes. And it's not so much of an issue for me. I mean, I still often think about my sexuality and in terms of labelling and all of that, but that's really because I study psychology and I just like to know these things. But for me personally, a friend of mine suggested the label hetero-flexible, and I love that. They actually call themselves homo-flexible, but I've kind of used the term now, hetero-flexible, and that's fine. At the end of the day, I'm just in love with Drew, and we're doing all right so far. I mean, to be honest, it's going to get easier anyway, because all of this was going on whilst I was recovering from surgery. So there's me recovering, getting used to this new penis, and there's him on testosterone, you know, and yeah, he's got the hot sweats, and he's hungry and huffy and horny, and I'm almost recovered, which is good. So yeah, it's all right. It's so far it's okay, and my reaction has been a lot better than I could have hoped for. I've been so worried that he'd kind of start transitioning, and I'd be like, no, I can't do this. But the opposite is true, and I'm just waiting now for that voice break. And you know, I find every time he goes, my throat's a bit sore. I'm like, ooh, it's your voice break, and I'm quite excited for him. So yeah, that's where we are with it all. We're doing all right. We are doing all right, and I am constantly bugging him to do videos, and so's Will, so that's good. So if we all just bug him, he might do it, but as I say, he's not the social media butterfly that I am. I'm quite out there, and he's quite opposite, so don't be surprised if you don't see videos directly from him, but I will drag him on here so that you do see his changes. But yes, any questions for me or for him that you'd like answered around this, because it is, there are a few people out there that do transition together, but there aren't many people that actually talk about it, and yeah, so if you do have any questions for us, just send them my way as per usual. I'll put links up to my blog and other places you can get hold of me. So yeah, it's alright. Thanks for listening, everybody, and for watching. Take care of yourselves. See you soon. Bye bye.